I'm Niall Incl, and this video is for the family from Yair Bunzel. I repeat, this video is for the family from Yair Bunzel. I've seen a video with Yair Bunzel, and that was in a German television series called from ZDF. That is the channel, and the series is called Heute Live, and it was about the Gaza. And the title of the series was um, Formal Fighters Fighting for Peace. I'm not Sebastian Power-Sieger, as I said, and I do inform about universal communication. Universal communication with creatures which have lived as human beings and which then came into the situation that they have lost their human body because their human body died. So I do inform about communication with ghosts, how some people would call that, and I do inform how they can communicate. And this video is for the family of Yair Bunzel, because I'm in contact with a creature which is identifying himself as one of the ancestors of Yair Bunzel, a granddad. If you watch the area here, you can see here a wind tool. If you watch the wind tool closely, please watch out for the following things. I will explain that tool for you and why the tool is hanging there. Because ghosts or creatures which have lived as human beings before, which then have lost their human body, because they do not have a human body anymore, they need a way to communicate with living humans like me. And one of the communication methods they can use is when they connect in symbiosis to the natural environment, and if they influence that. For example, the weather, like the wind. So that's why the wind tool is here, because the creature I'm in contact with, which identified himself as a granddad of Yair Bunzel, is able to canalize the wind to the wind tool and to influence the natural environment, the wind, to present himself and to communicate with me, Niall, and with you, the people which are watching the video. So the wind tool, I explained that quickly. First of all, if the creator wants to agree to something I speak out, he can trigger the wind. So he can use a higher wind level, a stronger one, if he wants to agree to stuff I speak out. And that's what you see right here. That is the demonstration for that. Okay? You can see how strong the creator and how specific he can canalize the wind. Okay? With that, he can say yes, for example. Or he can agree to stuff I speak out. If I communicate with the creator and if we go later more into the details, so if you have to reply as a creator more specific, if you watch the wind tool closely, you will see on the one side is a golden star placed. On the other side of this wind tool, there is no golden star placed. So the creator can later use the golden star side to say yes as well, or the creator can turn the wind tool and present the other side to say no. But to keep it easy, if the creator just wants to agree, so say yes, the creator just can trigger the wind and use a higher wind level like you have seen it before. And that's then a yes, okay? And if I have to request something like a deeper reaction to come to a better conclusion, then I can use the system with this, okay? So to the creator which is canalizing and triggering the wind. So you are a granddad of Yair Bunzel. That's correct. And you can see how extreme the creator is canalizing the wind. How specific the creator did use a stronger wind level to agree to that. So please watch out for that during the whole video. And please also watch out for the natural environment. Be aware of that. The creator, which identified himself by canalizing the wind, by using the wind, by agreeing to what I did ask, who identified himself as the granddad of Yair Bunzel, can use the wind on such a huge scale that he even can influence the plants in the background and the huge trees which are getting filmed from all the cameras which are placed here. Okay, but to keep it easy and simple for you, the people which are watching the video, and for Yair and for the family members, the wind tool is like the primary tool to communicate for the creator, to communicate with me and with you, the people. And on top of that, if you want to see it like that, the creator can influence the complete natural environment in the area where I am. So I'm in a garden at that moment in time, close to Frankfurt am Main, Germany. So um, I'm reachable also. That's an extra information. I'm gonna place it here now. And it's an extra information for the family members, of course. I'm reachable by the website siaembassy.com. So if you have later questions or if you want to contact me, you can use the website to contact me, and you can send me an email address and you will find a phone number. Okay, there's also that information is specific also for Yair Bunzel. So Yair, if you watch the video closely, you will find out that I'm in contact with a creature which can use the wind and canalize the wind as I explained. I will communicate later for a while with the creature which identifies himself as your granddad, so that you can watch out for that later. Okay? So let your eyes get used to the wind tool, to what I explained, that the creature can say yes by presenting the golden star with a specific reaction, or by triggering the wind with a specific reaction. For example, if I speak something out, or if the creature wants to agree to something I speak out. Do you want to agree to that? That you can react specific? You can see the star is turned into the camera, and to double that, to ensure that we understood it correct, to the granddad of Yair Bunzel, can you agree to that by triggering the wind, by canalizing the wind? And you can see how specific that can work. Okay? That's to Yair Bunzel. Okay, what you have now on video is the identification of the creator who identify himself as your granddad. So as a creator who have lived as a man before, and which have lived the life of your granddad in the body, the biological body of the human, your granddad. Okay? And to the creator, I explained that correct, right? Yes. And you could see the wind tool was lifted up a bit, and the creator did trigger more wind and did lift it up even more. Okay? So, so you have the identification of the creator, and I can provide you some options. See, I could help you for free if you want that, and if you want to, first of all, if you want to test the identification, if you want to test this creator, which is canalizing and triggering the wind, to ensure for yourself better the identification of this creator, you can create a test like interrogation with questions you can think about by yourself, with knowledge where you think only the creator who is your granddad could answer these questions. Okay, and in that way humans can ensure if they identify a creature which do not have a human body anymore, because that's a little bit difficult. um, to your granddad, he's producing a lot of wind because he wants to agree, I think, that he would answer such questions. So in case you want to send such questions, identification test, then I think your granddad want to say that he would like to answer them. Now to your granddad, is that correct? Then trigger the wind, please, now again one more time, and make that clear so that Yair Bunzel can understand that. And you can see he did that exactly and very clear. That's very good work. Very good. So he's using the wind very clear. Not all the creatures I'm communicating with always do that. That's for Yair Bunzel, because I'm used to some such kind of communication, okay, with creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body. So I'm enjoying a cup of coffee and maybe later a beer, which means we do have a little bit of time. but it's in the evening. Later, the light will become a little bit bad, and maybe, I'm not sure, but the weather is not good in Germany at the moment. So it's gonna depend on those few things a little bit. So to the granddad of Yair Bunzel. Um, you do know I made a video just a short while ago with the granddad of the other guy who was also in the documentation from the German television series Heute Live. What I did explain in the beginning of the video. Can you trigger the wind for that? And Yair Bunzel, he's agreeing to that, and that's an information which is also important for Sulaiman Khatib, the other guy from the ZDF series where I've seen you in the German television. Okay, because there's more video material existing, and also he can contact me, of course, by email or by phone to send questions regarding the creator I was in contact with in his case, and it was also a granddad. I think maybe more granddads than one. You can see if you watch the environment and if you watch the area that the wind is now much stronger and canalized a lot. And with that, your granddad is agreeing to that. But creatures like your granddad without his human body, they're able to connect in symbiosis and do teamwork. So potentially the granddads of Suleiman Khatib were involved already in this wind wave. Is that correct? Yes? Yes. Yes is the answer. See, I have learned to outread the wind tool and the natural environment, and I'm sitting here. So, of course, in a live situation, if you would be here live, it would be even better than a video for you. Much better. Because you could feel the wind on your skin. You could hear the leaves better, the leaves of the trees. I'm gonna use one camera to present you the area a little bit, and then I'm gonna replace the one camera so you can see and maybe hear a little bit. I use the one camera with a good microphone to capture maybe some sound of leaves, and we will have some support for that. So hopefully the camera did capture the leaves a little bit. So I'm in the garden, as I explained already. I have a question to your granddad, the granddad of Yair Bunzel. My question is, are you related to him um, from a female part of the family? He's turning the star a little bit into the direction of my eyes. That's what I can witness from the position I'm sitting in. And do you want to agree to that? So you are a granddad of him from a female part of the family? Yes, coming from so from his mother. Is that correct? Yes. If that's correct, trigger the wind a little bit stronger. Okay. You can see the wind is triggered stronger. Okay. The two of them is lifting up more. And Yair, be aware of that. They also can send wind waves. What I mean with this is, for example, if you have a medium wind level existing in a time period, in this time period, in the medium wind level, they can produce wind waves. And then the tool, for example, can do some kind of special movements. And with that, even in a wind in a time period where a specific wind level do exist, let's say a medium wind level, in that medium wind level, they even can agree to stuff and communicate very specific. But that is very hard to outreach for people if they are not used to that kind of communication. Just be aware of that. But your granddad is trying to be clear, and he's agreeing to that, and that's why he's triggering always with a good amount of wind, the wind tool, when I request that, and that's very good because the cameras can capture that very well. That is not always the case when I film that. Creators do that in that way that I think it's very it's good to see them for the people when they later watch the videos. So yeah, yeah, you can. I come back to what I said. You can contact me. There's a website siaembassy.com where you see many videos where I do communicate with creators which have lived as human beings before. So you can contact me if you want to send questions for your granddad, questions for his identifications, or if you have other questions. That's to Yair Bunzel and to Sulaiman Khatib. There's more video material existing. Me communicating with creatures which identify themselves as your family members by using the wind, by canalizing the wind, by triggering the wind. So you're also invited if you want to send questions. You can send them to my email address by using the website siaembassy.com, or you can contact me, or we can meet up, or if you have family members which want to meet up with me because maybe they live closer to me, if you live in the area of the Gaza, then of course I could meet also with family members of your family, to then give always the creators the chance to communicate with your family members or you directly. And then these people which want to do such meetings, they would get the lifetime experience to be in a situation to practice universal communication. And what I mean with this specific is if creatures just communicate by the way that they trigger and use the wind to communicate with living humans. Because be aware, I do inform about different topics in connection to universal communication. For example, topics which are called like body sharing, but that is not so important for the request you have on your table here. More important is the communication method your the creators are using. And you are invited if you want to request a meeting where you get the lifetime experience when they communicate like that directly with you. And then you also could directly solve your questions with the creators which are using the wind. That is to Yair Bunzel and also to Sulaiman. That offer for free. So, to the granted of Yair Bunzel, would you present yourself and communicate with Yair in case he would like to do such a meeting with me, and then I would request to have contact with you so that you could then directly have contact with him, and I would help him to understand the communication method you can use and to optimize himself by outreading the wind. Would you willing to present yourself and to answer questions to Yair Bunzel? That's the question I'm asking the granddad of Yair Bunzel. Okay? If that's the case, please trigger the wind so that Yair can see that, so that he can understand it. Would you solve his questions? Yes. Okay, trigger the wind a little bit more, then it's better for the camera. So he did trigger the wind a little bit. Now he's using a little bit more wind, and that's why you could see the shaking effect, and he's lifting up the wind. Okay? So the same offer is also for Sulaiman Khatib. And from the other video material I already filmed today, I know your family members, so the creators which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their human body, but which are able to use the wind today to communicate with people like me, which have learned to outread that communication. Your family members, these creators, would be also willing to present themselves in case of such a meeting I just spoke about. So the wind is triggered for that, right? The creature is agreeing to that. In that case, the creature, the granddad of Yair Bunzel. Yes. But you are in contact with the others as well, and they're also here. Yes, so they can trigger the wind as well. And they did at this moment in time? Yes. Okay. That's for the understanding of Sulaiman Khatib, because the wind now was triggered by your ancestors beside the ancestor of Yair Bunzel. They can work in, they can do teamwork as creatures when they're connected in symbiosis with the symbiosis. This symbiosis we call planet Earth, the natural environment. That's for your better understanding, and the wind is strongly triggered for that. Okay, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna optimize the situation a little bit. What I mean with this is I always have to be sure with which creature I'm communicating at a specific moment in time, so that we know who spoke. Also, that you know that if you watch the video later, that you can understand the situation. So the situation, of course, because right now three creatures from two families are involved. That's correct. Yes. So that's becoming quickly complex. Okay. So for Sulaiman Khatib, the information there's going to be a little bit more video material online later, and we're going to upload it shortly before this video. And I cannot make it to put everything online. That's what I think at the moment. So you will find a bit of all of this which was filmed today later in the internet. Okay, so for your better understanding. Um, to Yair Bunzel, the granddad. I have a question to the granddad of Yair Bunzel, to be specific and correct. Okay, the other family members, they are okay. The family members which maybe did die and he didn't know during his lifetime. Yes, and there are some. So there are family members which did die during his lifetime, and they're okay. Okay, so the, that's an information for your ear Bunze. Okay, from the creator which is identifying himself as your granddad, because that was the creature I requested to spoke to. Okay, now we have three involved in this communication at the moment. Your granddad, if the identification everything is correct, and two family members of the family of Sulaiman Khatib. So, um, so as I said, both of you are invited. You can send questions to test the identification of these creatures. Then I can ask them these questions, and I can film their reaction and send you the documentations. That's also possible. Okay, and you can send other questions, like beside the fact that I want to make sure that you understood that you can send questions regarding the identification. Beside that fact, you also can send all other questions which are maybe interesting for you. So general questions for the creator, and then I can produce a documentation where the creator is answering these questions, if you want that. And you would be willing to answer their questions. Yes, I think yes is the answer, but I'm gonna ensure. Correct? Yes. So identification questions, and also maybe if they have other questions where they're interested, maybe in the form how you exist today, how you feel today, if they want to know further details, stuff like that, you would be also willing to answer these questions. And if yes, if I understood you correct, if everything is a yes, then please trigger the windstorm. So if all, if the block of questions I had, if that's a yes to all the little questions that pass through, then just trigger the windstorm. Can you trigger the wind them strong? More movement, even more than this, because before it was great. And okay, and you're a little bit shy now. You're acting like shy because what you really want to achieve is that Yair Bunzel in that case is requesting a direct meeting so that you are able to communicate directly with them. That's correct, right? Yes? Don't trigger the wind stronger a little bit. He's presenting the star to the camera, but I want to ensure that we understood the creature correct. Okay, that's to Yair Bunzel. If that's your granddad, I want to ensure that I understood it correct. So you want to meet Yair Bunzel, so you would like him to contact me, that I meet with him, and that I help him then, that he will be able to communicate with you, and that he also will be able to understand when you communicate with him. Is that correct? And therefore he's triggering the wind strong. Okay. Yeah, that's logical. So he would do the documentations, see, but it would help him more if he could communicate directly with you, and if you could learn how he can present himself, how he can communicate, and if you could learn how to outreach and react to the communication, you then would see, of course, because then you would have interaction between you and him, and that's of course to your family member. So that's the more important point for him. But both is correct. So documentations and the focus, his focus, the focus of this creator is that you understand that he would like to see you contact with me, that we meet often, and that he have the chance to communicate with you directly. And that was simple and good explained. Yes. Okay. So that's for your better understanding. So as I said, I'm sitting out here in the evening. In case I need a jacket later, I'm gonna get myself one. So maybe I have to leave the scene for a second, just that you know that already now. But then I'm gonna repeat that and just afterwards I can leave. Um, so the are you interested in politics? A little bit, a little bit, because he triggered the wind wave the first time a little bit. Then I did ask a little bit, and he triggered the wind wave more. Okay, that's how specific it is at this moment in time. Just that you know that, be aware if you watch the video material. And he's agreeing to that by triggering the wind. Okay. Um, well, the video series where I saw Sulaiman Khatib in and Yair Bunzel. And let me explain the situation for those people which are watching the video, and for Yair Bunzel maybe, and for Sulaiman Khatib, and then all involved parties which are communicating here by triggering the wind, the three which have identified themselves so far, they can trigger the wind for what I speak out, okay, if they want to agree, of course. So I watched this documentation. It's a ZDF Heute live series, so not a real documentation, a live series. As I mentioned before, and the German wording was how to overcome the hate in the Middle East. Okay, and the title was former fighters fighting for peace in the Middle East. Yes. So at the moment, at this moment in time, a lot of people, Palestinians, people from Palestine and Israelis, do suffer a bit again because the conflict do heat up again, right? And they do agree to that. I'm gonna ask some questions so that Yair and sorry, Suleiman gets some impressions. Okay, yeah, okay. He turned the star into my eye direction. Is doing that clearly now for you to see it as well, because I looked at it. So they react so specific, and I have to be very fast to make everything transparent. But all the details can be very important for you. Okay, so for creatures like you have lost your human body, but these conflicts, these ongoing conflicts, they're also important for you, is correct, right? because your living family members do live in the area and could potentially suffer? Would you say that's correct? Yes, yes. The creator is agreeing by triggering wind. So do not get too confused because it was the no side of the wind to it. Okay? Because if the creator is triggering the wind specific, then the creator is always saying yes, no matter which side is presented. That's how it's arranged and how we made it clear. And you can see he's agreeing now with it, so that you do not get confused. That's why I made it. So when the creature is triggering the wind, then the creature is agreeing. So some people think if humans die, then everything on planet Earth do not have to be a problem for them anymore, stuff like that. Often, of course, ancestors live also on planet Earth as creatures, even if they have lost their human body. Even if they can leave planet Earth, how human would see that. And because they do care often for their own family members, for the civil society they have lived in, for their friends and people they have met, because of that, the conflicts, which are reality for humans, are also part of their reality very often, as long as they are interested on planet Earth, as long as they are often here, as long they maybe even live or be in the area where the conflict is going on. Is this with you sometimes the case? He turned the star a little bit to my eye now more and is triggering the wind to agree to that. So that's the granddad of Yair Bunzel. So your granddad is communicating that he's potentially sometimes in the area where you live. That's how I can understand the information. Is that correct? So you are sometimes in the area where Yair Bunzel is? Yes. No. Yes, yes. If yes, trigger the wind to make it clear, because now you got me confused. That can happen. Is yes correct? Yes is correct. But there's another area where you have lived also, and there you also sometimes. That's how I understand the situation, and the wind is triggered for that. Yeah, Ihr Bunzel will know that. Do you think you will know that? At least that you have lived somewhere else. Okay. So of course I do not have all the information from their family, and that's good, because I like when other people have their privacy. I want my own, so I respect the privacy of others. Um, but you not always have lived at the same place, but you have been after your death as a human, as a creature, at the place where your Bunzel lives, and at the place where you have lived. How they would see it, your Bunzel and family members. That's correct, yes. And the creature is triggering the wind for that, okay, and presenting the star by shaking. Okay, that's for your better understanding. So um, and for the other people which are also watching the video, of course, when these creatures live on planet Earth like we do as living humans, and if their family members live in the war zone, then this war can easily become part of their reality, and they also have to worry, if not for themselves, because they cannot get killed with a human body, how a human body would see that, because they already have lost their human body. But if they do not have to worry for themselves in that way, then at least they have to worry for their own family members, minimum the humans they love, they're connected with, and at least this is also their habitat, the planet Earth. So the place where these creatures can live. And because human wars can easily escalate, and then weapon technology is used, which is destroying the natural environment, which is creating a situation where animals, plants, and humans do suffer as a result of that. So maybe potentially get sick or suffer with pain, stuff like that. that easily can lead to a situation where creatures which have lost their own human body but which live on planet Earth come into situations where they suffer by themselves, where they totally involved as victims as well in wars humans do fight. Can you agree to that? Yes. And the next point is creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body. They're also able to take part in the human wars, is correct. And the creature is triggering the wind for that very strong, as you can see. So yeah, here Bunzel, what your granddad is communicating with that is that creatures which have lived as human beings before and which have lost their own human body, that if conflicts are going on planet Earth, they easily become part of the conflict, and they can fight in the conflict, but invisible to the humans which do fight. And your granddad is agreeing to that. But of course, in the first moment, you will have no chance to imagine that or to understand that in the first second. So let me explain that a little bit, if you allow me to, and if you have a little bit time. So creatures like your granddad, they can connect in symbiosis with the natural environment and use the wind, as you can see it here. And they can connect in symbiosis also with human bodies, animal bodies, or plant bodies. And your granddad is triggering the wind for that, clearly. See? Like requested, even more clear after I requested. And in that way, they can, because they can connect with these biological bodies, they can use the nerve system, the eyes, the ears, the taste, the nerve system. And with that, they can, by connecting in symbiosis to bodies, they can connect to a reality they can join. Understand? Because they can use the eyes of a human if they are connected to a human body. With that, they can see. They can use the taste of the biological human body or of the animal body. If they are connected in symbiosis in that biological body, then they can use the functions, even in a way that humans cannot realize that by themselves. If we call us humans because we are creatures which were born in a human body, which we identify as our human body. That's my case. I'm Niall. So it's a little bit complex. When we talk about universal stuff, it easily becomes complex, and there are easy conflicts as well. That's correct. And I said conflict the first time when I spoke it out the first time. That was by influencing my body. What I mean with this, was it your granddad? Did you influence my human body that I said conflict at that moment in time? And he's triggering the wind for that. So he gave my human brain the order after he did connect in symbiosis to my human biological body. So it's becoming very complex there. I'm calling that topic in general body sharing, but do not lose yourself there. So if I communicate with creators like with your granddad, their experience, how they look at planet Earth and what they are able to do, and how I look at planet Earth as well as a living human, might be a little bit different to how many other humans on planet Earth who have their look on planet Earth because of the lifetime experience and because of what creatures like your granddad are capable of. Was the other word soft touch? Yes. So is there a father who wants to identify himself? The father of Yair Bunzel? Is that correct? So then we have now more creatures which are involved in that communication from now on. Do I understand that correct? The father of Yair Bunzel. So we have a father and a granddad of Yair Bunzel involved in the conversation we are doing here, and creatures which do belong to the family Sulaiman Khatib. So for the people which are watching the video now, you might wonder, for me, that is my normal life. So I had no contact with the creature which is now identifying himself as the father of Yair Bunzel before, and the creature is agreeing to that by triggering the wind. So he just contacted me. But I live a life where quickly many creatures can contact me. So for me, that is a normal lifetime situation, even if I have not met the creature is agreeing to it. So you want a little bit help by reaching your son, Yair Bunzel, is it that? And Yair, you can watch the background because I think the wind's gonna be triggered a little bit for you. And you can see in the background also that the plants do start to shake a lot more. So this creature is agreeing to that by using a lot of wind and hear the leaves. Maybe the microphone did capture that. I'm close to the airport here in Frankfurt, at the main side of Germany, so there are sometimes airplanes crossing by in between. So I want to be clear to Yair Bunzel and to Sulaiman Khatib now. So you can see I'm in contact with a lot of creatures. If you want to identify them correct, please contact me. It would also, for me, cost some time now to identify your dad best as possible. If that is your dad, how this creature did communicate that by using the wind, which overtook the wind communication for a moment. So did have I explained that correct for Yair Bunzel that after his granddad, the creature who identified himself as his father overtook the wind system to communicate with him now? Yes. So that Yair Bunzel can follow. Because it can go quickly, as you see. Because the networking level is very, very high between these creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body. They can be very fast. They can, for example, if one creature is using the system to answer with wind, they can cooperate with each other. And then they can overtake the wind system after a mini amount of time, and you have a new communication partner using it. So it's always important to try the best as a human to identify the creatures as best as possible. Because there can be problems, and sometimes creatures are also not telling the truth. So there are also creatures do exist which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their human body, and which do lie in between. So not all the creatures which have lived as humans once and which have lost their human body and then became angels or ghosts or whatever, not all of them are truthful. So that is a problem if you deal with creatures which have lost their own human body. I by myself, I always communicate also with my mom, Susanne Ilse-Sieger. She have lived as a woman before she have lost her human body, and I often communicate with her to check identifications as well. But now your dad came up very unprepared for me. So I'm not prepared. I did not communicate with my mom before to check the identification of the creature which did canalize the wind and which did identify himself as your father, how I understand. And of course, I do not have your family details or the family details of Sulaiman Khatib. Okay, that's for your better understanding. So if I get new contact with creatures which have lived as human beings before and which canalize the wind and which try to contact me or which try to communicate with me, I have to do a lot of stuff to identify them best as possible, to understand them best as possible, and the situation can quickly switch. So quickly, creatures can overtake the system. For example, the natural environment to communicate with me. They can switch quickly their position. So, to the granddad of Yair Bunzel, you are no, not to the granddad, to the dad of Yair Bunzel. I go back to the dad of Yair Bunzel because you are doing the wind at the moment. Is that correct? Yes, and he's triggering the wind a little bit more. Okay. So the conflict in Gaza at the moment. Um, are you into that regarding the informations? You do worry about that? Do you inform yourself about that? Yes. He did present me the star. You're gonna trigger the wind now to say yes. Okay. And you live there in between. So when they do bomb now, the Israeli part in that case, is that the Israeli part of the area? How you would, or how you have seen it? You in your life as a human? Yes. So if they would bomb it, your security is unstable as soon as you are connected in symbiosis to a human body because you could get hurt. That's true. Can you trigger the wind more to make that clear? He's making that clear. How he could get hurt, I can explain that again. He could be in the situation that he's connecting symbiosis to the nerve system of a human body, and the bomb is falling, and the human gets badly hurt. And if he's connecting symbiosis to the nerve system to a human in that moment in time, he will feel the pain. You will even feel the death potentially if that human dies and if you are fully connected with the human body. It's correct, right? Could that happen? Yes? Yes or no? Yes is the answer. See? Yes is the answer. My beautiful chest light. So I brought some lights before you answered, but so to Yair Bunzel. So that's what you can understand. So if your granddad, sorry, your father in that case, is in Israel, for example, tomorrow or maybe the day after, and if Israel gets bombed, then they can hurt him or your other ancestors as well if they're in a situation like that. And it's the same with the ancestors of Sulaiman Khatib. And often humans think that creatures which have lived as human beings before, well, some humans, of course, think when a biological human body dies, the creature also dies. That's wrong. But some humans which do know that there is a further existence, they think these creatures which have lived as human beings before are always so cool that they always can protect them, that they get not hurt, and because they don't have their own biological body, that they're totally protected and stuff like that. But that's wrong because of the situations they can create by themselves if they connect themselves in a stupid situation with a biological body, for example. And also, it is potentially possible that creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body, that they get reborn after a while in a biological body on planet, which means a human body or animal body or as a plant. Um, can your father make that more clear? Yes. So, so as you see, Suleiman Khatib and Yair Bunzel, the conversation with creatures which have lived as human beings before, in general, can be very, very interesting, but also in general with creatures which are able to control the natural environment, those kinds of conversations can be very interesting. So you are invited to, if you want to get your own experience there, if, if I should help you there, and then we can meet up to do that. So regarding your dad, Yair, I'm gonna ask you that. Is there a lot of stuff you would like to tell your son? Is there a lot of stuff you would communicate towards him if you could do that in a way that he could understand that? He's presenting the star to my eye, okay, and he gonna trigger the wind to agree. And he turned this time to this camera to say yes, and now he's gonna trigger the wind to agree to that. So Yair, the creature who's your identifying himself as your dad, would like to communicate towards you a lot of more stuff than than I'm able to ask today, or than I could film today. That is what your dad is communicating by triggering the wind to the dad. Is that correct? Did I explain that correct? Was that everything correct? Yes. Okay. Okay, that's for your Bunzel to understand. So, um, so regarding this conflict, do you think your Bunzel is living in a dangerous area because of the conflict at the moment as a human? Yes. Yes. And the Palestinians, the people of Palestine, they have a bigger problem, right? From the security level for the civil society. Do you see it the same way? Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to know that. Um, to Yair, Sulaiman, and also the other people which are watching the video. So if you communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before, they easily can fly quickly around. They can connect to, for example, human bodies, as I explained, also to human brains. And that's how they can outread and collect, if they want to, a lot of information. And that's why they can be very intelligent if they want to, because they can catch so much information. But that is not saying that all creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their human body, are doing that to get knowledge, or to behave intelligent, or to be intelligent. Okay, so potentially creatures which have lost their human body and which have lived as humans, if they use their function to outreach human brains, for example, and if they use it for learning the whole time, then they can be potentially very, very intelligent, and they can have a lot of interesting information. But not all creatures which have lived as humans before, which have lost their own human body after their human body died, not all creatures, of course, are interested in um, studying a lot of information. That's for your better understanding. Is it correct what I said? Would you agree to that? How I did try to explain that? Yes. Okay, that's because that's an important point. Can you make it clear? Yes. Okay. It's an important point because you can connect in symbiosis to human brains and you can outread them. So that's for the better understanding for the humans which are watching the video. Um, so of course they all creatures which are able to do that are potentially in a situation that they could use that, and that could lead to a situation that they become very smart. But my experience is it's different. Some creatures do that and learn a lot, and some just behave stupid. Is that also your experience with creatures which have lived as human beings before and which already have lost their human body after they have lost their human body? Would you agree to that? Yes. So, in general, they become a little bit more intelligent. Would you agree to that as well? Yes. But what I said is true. So, some creatures just to act stupid, let me say it like that, and so easy after they lost their human body, and then they keep acting stupid if they are stupid creatures. Would you agree to that? How simple I explain, try to explain that to the people which are watching the video? Yes. So these are individual creatures. Okay, some will um, behave intelligent and use what they can use in the symbiosis for their benefit, or to be more intelligent, to be stronger, or to help others, or whatever. And some won't just do that. So that's what we just spoke about. So you don't think there's an easy solution, right? Yes, you don't think that. And he's triggering the wind. So the father of Yair Bunzel agrees that there's no easy solution for the conflict in the Gaza area. That's correct, right? Yes. Uh, if yes is correct, he's presenting the star to my eye. If yes is correct, just trigger the wind. Just trigger the wind if yes is correct. And he do trigger the wind a little bit. I have another question for this creature. Watch out closely now. That's important. You had a little problem with the wind tool, right? Is that possible? Okay. You can see he's triggering the wind. I'm gonna present you the little problem. It's not a big thing. Just that you understand what also can happen if you do practice universal communication and if you use such tools. Here's a little thing. Okay, before the wind tool was hanging a little bit more like this, a little bit more free. It was easier to move, and then it was hanging behind the stick. What that was that your problem? And you can see the creatures triggering the wind more now to agree to that. Okay. So it's in the evening now. I have to switch the position of the camera a bit, so because that's better for you. So it's in the evening right now. So this video will not be too long. Maybe another few minutes, and then I will stop the video because I also have to put it to the internet and so on and so on, so on. Be aware of the following. You want to let it rain? Creatures which have lived as human beings before can um, use rain if they want to present their emotions. So if they want to make clear that they have sad feelings also, then they can use rain to make that clear. As teardrops, as a symbol of teardrops. So in a way, in that way, creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body, and which are in a situation that they can connect like that to the symbiosis, in that way, they can cry, and the raindrops are the symbol. So to the father of Yair Bunzel, do you want to do that? So you want to send him the signal that you are sad because you cannot communicate with him better? Is it that? No. Because you want to communicate that you are sad because you have lost your human body? Yes? You want to do rain? You want to let it rain? Is my question now. Okay? To the father of Yair Bonsu. You want to let it rain now? And I mean rain drops, water. Yes or no? The background a little bit, please, also. So you want to let it rain? Yes or no? Please work with the wind tool now. Yes, you turn the star to me and to the camera. If yes is correct, please trigger the wind, and then we have a clear answer. Because the people were so used to the wind tool. Okay. And I made clear there was a huge wind wave in the background. That's how the father of Yair Bunzel communicated at that moment in time. And with the rain, you want to transfer the information that you are sad because you are unable to communicate with him better. Is that correct? So because he cannot understand when you try to reach him and when you try to communicate with him or your other family members as well? Yes. And yes is the answer, and he is clearly triggering the wind for that and shaking the stars. Okay? So um, these are cameras which are, um, when it starts to rain, I will film that if that's the case. Um, but after a moment, then, so after I filmed the beginning of the rain, after that I have to stop the video because these are not my water resistant cameras, which I'm using at the moment here. But I do not want to do a too long video anyway. You agree to that? So because you can analyze that, that's the truth with me now, because I produce other video material as well today, and I was quite busy. I do not have much time to rest. I have a very stressful life, very painful life sometimes as well. So that's why it's good for me to rest in between, but I'm not even doing that. After I finish this video, I'm working on other videos. So I'm very busy by helping creators to reach out for the living family members. That's the information to Yair Bunzel. So, okay, if you want, you can let it rain. And then Yair Bunzel understood that you can let it rain specific. How they can do it is clear. They can canalize the wind. So they can also influence the clouds, okay? And that's how they can let it rain if they want to do that. And if your dad want to do that, to be able to let it rain, you need the support from other creatures in the symbiosis. And if the situation is that he's getting all the support in the symbiosis, then he will be able to let it starts to rain in a moment, actually. Okay, and the cameras will then film that, and I will start to afterwards, after it started to rain, I will pack the cameras and I will leave the place. Okay, so that will be the end of the film. The rain created them. If they're gonna happen by the creator, which is identifying himself as your dad, who did canalize the wind and who did organize the clouds for the rain to communicate that he's sad. So then you can start if you want. Do you think the people will see rain in the morning? They will see like water drops falling down? Okay, let's wait for a moment. And afterwards, I have to work a little bit on my PC. But hopefully, I could help with this video. First of all, the creator, the father of Yair Bunzel, the granddad of Yair Bunzel, if I understood all the identifications correct, and I think I did. And family members from Sulaiman Khatib, and hopefully I could help a little bit Sulaiman Khatib and Yair Bunzel with the video, and hopefully you have a nice experience with the video material because it's not so easy to find it in the internet when universal communication is documented like that. So you get something exclusive there somehow. And with that is triggering the wind to agree to that. He's doing that very strong. That's what maybe the microphone is capturing as well, even if it's pointing into the other direction. So, Have you died young? You, the father of Yair Bunzel, have you died young as a man? Yes or no? Quite young? Because he did not look too old in the video I watched. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. That's sad, right? If humans die young, that's always sad. That's always sad. So to Yair and to um, Sulaiman. Um, if you want to do a meeting or if you want to send family members for such a meeting, as I explained before, what we could do to try to communicate with these creators them again, then you could solve your own questions directly with them. I mean, with them, I mean the dad, of course, of Yair Bunzel, his granddad, but also the other family members of Suleiman Khatib. So you, of course, will have it easy to bring a lot of questions if you did know them during their lifetime as humans. Okay, you have to understand I'm often in contact with many creators, so I often do not have too many questions, to be absolutely honest. If I just try to help that other humans do understand that their family members do exist and that they are able to communicate and that they are invited to contact me. So, to the father of Yair Bunzel, is it okay if I speak to one of the family members of Sulaiman Khatib for a moment? And then, in case it starts to rain, we know that you have produced the rain. He do trigger the wind tool in a way that you could see the star clearly. Maybe in the other cameras, this one is not capturing, but my eyes could see it as well. And he's canalizing the wind for that. Okay. So, so can you switch the position with the creature, which is a family member of Suleiman Khatib, the creature I spoke to the first time? Yes, you're already doing the wind now? Not yet. You're gonna switch? Switch on. The star is presented to my eyes and the wind level is triggered. Okay, so the switch is done. Be aware of the following. This creature often uses a lower wind level. Be aware of that. So you are a granddad of Suleiman Khatib. He's presenting the star in the direction to my eyes and canalizes the wind to a stronger wind level. Okay, that's to Suleiman Khatib, the information I can give you already in this video also. And I told you there are going to be more video material in another video online. And to the granddad of Suleiman Khatib, you are the creature who is a granddad from the mother side. Is that correct? And you can see he's triggering the wind. And to Sulaiman Khatib, he's presenting the star also. He turned that. And I do know that from the other video I already produced with this creature, just that you do understand that. And another granddad from Sulaiman Khatib is the information I have. Also want to communicate with him. Is that correct? He's presenting the star and lifting that tool up again. Okay, you have to be, if you watch out for it, watch the videos on a huge screen. Watch it on a huge screen. This camera did not capture it, but the others did, hopefully. Okay, but you could see the wind level was triggered, and he's triggering the wind level again to agree to that. Okay, and I'm gonna replace the camera a bit. So now you can see the because that area was not in the picture with where the star is placed, so that's an important area. So Of course, I do not know your families. That goes out to Sulaiman, Khatib, and to Yair Bunzel. So, regarding the informations, I will try to check also with my mom if the informations are correct. But anyway, you will find this video material now in the internet. Also, as I say anyway, also because the date came off, I did not know before, and you're invited to contact me. Okay, that's important to understand. Then you have the option, we can find an appointment, a place to meet maybe, and then maybe you have the option to communicate with your family members, these creatures which did present themselves by using and canalizing the wind. And you have the option to communicate with them maybe directly by yourself again. Okay. So hopefully I could help with the video a little bit. It's getting cold. It's getting cold. So I'm gonna end the video very, very soon in the next few minutes. And I'm saying that because in case the dad wants really to let it rain, then he has the chance to do that now. And with the dad, I mean the father of Yair Bunzel, how this creature have identified himself. So, and I'm going to present you the area a little bit. Watch out for the wind left. Watch out for that. I'm going to present it to you. So, and regarding the situation, if the dad want to let it rain, then you can organize enough water that the cameras can capture that it's getting really wet everywhere. That's important because if just 3 drops fall, the people will not realize that, they will not be able to see that very well. So I'm just giving the creature the information. If the creature which identified himself of Yair Bunzel will be able to let it rain, we will see that in a few minutes, in the next 3 minutes, because afterwards I'm gonna stop the video, and then I'm gonna work on the video material that you get a split screen later, that you get a split screen video where you see a few videos one beside the other, and that will take some time as well. But right now I can already say thank you very much for watching. Your Niall Sebastian Power Sieger, and I will um, replace the one camera, this one camera, with the microphone a little bit so that you can see more. And the past minutes of this video, the creatures I was in contact with, they can use to influence the natural environment with the wind, and you will be able to hear the leaves and watch the scene for a moment without me in the picture. So that is a little bit more, so you get a little bit more a natural impression without me in the picture. Thank you very much for watching. Your Niall Sebastian Power Sieger, and the creatures which did canalize the wind and which did present themselves in the video material, and which did communicate to you, the people. And the creators do agree to that by canalizing the wind. That's for your better understanding. Now I'm going to replace the one camera, and the other cameras are filming very well the area, and we will see in a few minutes if it's going to start to rain or if not. Thanks for watching. You're not. Fotos und er hat um 10 Minuten circa gebeten. Okay, das zum besseren Verständnis. Ich platziere die Kamera hier. Hier ist ein Dach über der Kamera. Und hier werde ich auch mit einer Kamera platzieren. Das zum besseren Verständnis. Now check this. With this camera, I'm filming the sky. Okay? That was how it looked before. Look how dark it's becoming here. So this could be the rain clouds that Dad wants to use if he produces the rains. So we give him a moment if he wants to transfer these clouds over here, and then it could work out.
I think the rain gonna start soon because if I watch the clouds, they're reaching now the area in front of the garden. Just that you are informed. I'm gonna use the one mobile camera to film that one more time. There it is very dark, and over here that was the light before. So now the clouds are moving over the garden. Be aware, I'm away for a second, so I'm back in a moment. But the camera's gonna film the moment. So when the rain do start, you're gonna see that. It's gonna be captured in the video, and I'm gonna be back in a few minutes. Thanks.
So I'm back again. So it did not start to rain yet, but the cloud is now right over my head. Watch that. So I do that the first time, the universal communication with the father of that guy, with the creator who identified himself as the father of the guy from the video series. Okay? So with the guy from the Bunzel family. Um, I was already in situations when creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body, did communicate by using rain specific, on point. He requested more time after the first arrangement, and that's why it's not good to present it as totally specific. Okay, but I did the first video with this creature, and we're gonna wait. The cloud is now here, so the weather situation did change. But you do understand that. Before there was no rain cloud, and right now the whole area, over the whole area, is a rain cloud, except on the horizon. So, do you want to let the rain start to fall? I asked the creator who identified himself as the father of the guy from the video series, the father of the Bunzel family. If yes is the answer, please canalize more wind to the huge tree in the area over here, and I'm filming it with my mobile camera for a moment. Now I can see more wind is reaching the crown of this tree. See? There's more movement. That is where I was looking at with my eyes, for your better understanding. So I understand that as a yes, that the creator wants to start to let it rain soon. So that is how the sky looks at the moment. And now I'm gonna place the camera, and I give him a short while, and we're gonna see what happens. So you see here the green leaves in the background from the plants. The father wants to start now with the rain, and you're gonna trigger the wind for that, if that is correct what I'm saying. And you can see that the wind is canalized and wind waves are reaching this plant, and you can see more movements in the leaves. You can hear the leaves. Okay? Okay, then please start to let it rain, and I will be quiet for a moment and see the water. So I'm gonna wait another few minutes. You could see that the sky became very dark, a lot of rain clouds, as I presented it to you. I'm gonna wait another few minutes and then I'm gonna end the video because I have to work on my PC as I explained before. I apologize for that. So hopefully the father do make it in time. The cloud is now over my head, so it should be possible for him if he wants to let it rain to do that very soon. Thank you very much for watching again. You're Niall Sebastian Powersieger. And if you're interested in universal communication and what creatures which have lived as human beings before can do if they are connected in symbiosis to the natural environment, you invited to visit the website www.crembassy.com. Thank you very much for watching. You know. So I'm gonna replace the one camera because it's raining time. So the father did produce rain as he communicated it before. And he is canalizing wind to the plants now to agree to that. Okay, you can see he's canalizing wind to the big tree back there as well. Hopefully the camera could capture the raindrops because there were just a very few so far. Yes. Do you want to let it rain more? Yes. Do you gonna let it rain more now? So as you could see, wind waves were striking that tree here. And that was the tree I was looking at, and I was looking at this plant a little bit also. Okay? And some raindrops do fall during this conversation, but I'm not sure if the camera can capture them. So it's not getting really wet at the moment. And that is the cloud where the rain is coming from, over my hat. So I'm gonna replace the one camera here again, and I'm gonna give the creature the moment to let more rain come down, and I'm gonna give him only a few minutes because I have more work inside, as I explained already. I apologize for that, but you could see already if the camera did capture that creatures can organize a situation where they can let it rain specifically after they communicated that they're gonna arrange that kind of situation. Okay, so you could see whether the control, including a situation where raindrops did reach planet Earth from the clouds, because creatures did influence them by canalizing and triggering the wind. To the death of the Bunzel family is agreeing to that by canalizing more wind. So, okay, these are the last 3 minutes um, where the father of Yair Bunzel have the chance to drop rain, and then we're gonna end the video, and you will see two videos in the internet later. One long option where you see all the time between the rain starts and where he started to communicate that he wants to let it rain. And you're gonna see a video where you just see that he communicates that, and if the camera captured at the moment when the rain drops the fall. So if you want to see the long video, please search for that on YouTube. Thanks for watching. You're Niall Incl.
for watching. Peace.